Hey everyone, it's Alexa with Grace and Cherish, and I know it has been several weeks since I've last shared a video, but I have a big update for you. First things first, it's good to be back. Today we are going to be talking about the basement, which I'm in right now, because this 1,500 square feet is soon to be renovated. We've already started the process with our general contractor to get things moved out so that we can begin laying down our layouts, begin the build out, we have our plumber coming to go through the cement so that they can put in all the things that we need for the plumbing and everything like that. There's a lot going on. I'll get to that in a minute. But before I do, I am excited to be able to share everything we talk about here in terms of interior design through the lens of spiritual formation and hospitality. I've talked about it. I have different videos where I've shared different design principles in the connection, but now I get to actually show you as we go through this process of renovating not only this 1,500 square feet, but also 2 other bathrooms in our home and potentially the primary bedroom and bath. We'll see, that's dependent on budget. But those other projects, those are happening, and I'm excited to take you around for all of it. But first, if you're new to the channel, the reason why we're doing this project is because the 10 acres that my family live on, it's my husband and I, we have 4 kids, and we bought 10 acres just outside of Atlanta. We're like 30 minutes from West End, if you're familiar with this area. And so we found out last year around this time that a company in Georgia was going to be taking 3/4 of an acre of our land due to eminent domain. You probably know what I'm talking about because it's happening a lot around Georgia and other states in the US. So we were pretty upset, right? No one wants their land taken. No one wants to have to deal with that. But what came out of that as we prayed and we asked the Lord, like, what do? We can't fight this. We aren't able to stop it. But is there an opportunity here? Do we move? Is there an opportunity? We were going through all of that. And what we came to is that the vision that we have here at Philo, which we purchased this land so that we could use it to serve others. We've been blessed to partner with different organizations. We're talking organizations serving women coming out of sex trafficking. We've gotten to work with homeschool groups. We've gotten to just have community members come and be on the property and receive just opportunities to be in peace and nature. That is the heart, the purpose of why we bought this place. But given that I have a love for interior design and making beautiful and hospitable places that shout to the glory of God, we always are looking at what does it look like to use the space we have to keep serving others and creating beauty that points to hope and places of connection with God, self, and others. So when the whole situation went down, we found out that this land is going to be taken. We realized that there was an opportunity with what was going to be paid to us for the land. We realized, hey, we could use that to further the mission of Philo, to build out our basement, to be able to provide bathrooms for when we have events, because right now we use our bathrooms, but those things are a little outdated. So we're gonna be able to add additional bathrooms for when we have large gatherings. We are gonna have a kitchen area, there's a whole lot. I'll show you the floor plan. Today's videos are gonna be all about space planning, because that's one of the primary things you do when you're starting to design a new space. So I'm really excited. We're gonna get into all the details, but for those of you who aren't familiar with how we're getting here, what the point of all this, I want to start there. We believe that the money that we had that we got because of the land that was being taken, we're looking at it as a bad situation that we're trying to use in a good way that can still bless other people and fulfill the mission that we feel like we were called to here. So, with all that said, when it comes to interior design and spiritual formation and hospitality, I firmly believe, and I've said this before, that hospitality can change lives. I believe it can end wars. I believe that hospitality, when you truly are about serving and welcoming and caring for other people, with love at the center of that, and as being the motivation for it, that there's real power in it. And so when I design and create spaces, whether it's in my home or it's been in other homes that I've had of clients, I really hone in on what does it mean to commune with you, Lord, and create that in this space that we're living. That is what this channel is all about. And as I prayed and I wondered with the Lord, like, hey, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to put my attention towards YouTube? Should I be sharing this? Or is this about me? Or is this actually about glorifying you? And as I prayed and I wondered about that, that's when the money for the property or for the land came in. That's when the official okay, and my husband and I both feeling like, yes, we're supposed to move forward with doing this renovation project. All of it happened in such a way, like, when you ask God something and then it's just like so clear, you're like, okay, I'm supposed to move forward with that. So that's what the purpose of these videos are. It's really to take you along, and my hope is that, one, it points you to the glory of God and that it is an encouragement to you. Two, I hope that it makes you want to show hospitality to other people. You don't have to renovate your home and do all of that, but a lot of us actually enjoy renovating our homes or decorating our homes or doing projects in them and having ideas of what we can do with space. A lot of people enjoy that, and instead of pretending like that's not something that we like, I'd rather embrace it. We are paying attention. A lot of us are paying attention to design, videos, and other things, but what I don't see a lot of times online is the connection between how we can care about making something beautiful, whatever that means to you, and something meaningful, and not just making it about being expensive or impressing other people. I want to kind of get away from that and really think about, how do we create something that's about connection? How do we create something that is about more than impressing other people, but rather loving them? What does it look like to be thoughtful in your design, to create something that speaks to the heart of a person? And for me, that begins with prayer, and that begins with being intentional to commune with God, to say, what do you imagine this space to look like? Can you give me vision for that? And then from there, go and have at it, have fun, do the thing. And that's what we're gonna be doing. We're doing the thing. Because tomorrow I've got framers coming to lay out the space plan for this area that I'm in right now. And I've got designs that I have to finalize for the bathrooms that we're gonna be renovating in their upstairs area too. So we're gonna walk through all of those details, but I want us to start with the foundation that this is not just about impressing other people. This is not about making things that look expensive, which a lot of videos about interior design, that's what they talk about. And to be honest, that's all vain, if I'm honest. It's not that you can't have expensive things. That's a relative term, because $200 is expensive to one person, but it's a drop in the bucket to another. Like, whatever. I'm not here to bash those things. If you like nice things, I love me some lighting, and some nice lighting at that. The money I've spent on paint, like, I like nice paint. I'm not here to shame any of that, but I am here to say that our hearts that's not where I want our hearts to sit. Get the beautiful, good thing, but don't do it just to impress other people or to feel like it's expensive, again, whatever. But let's instead think about how we can create spaces in our home, whether you're just adding throw pillows or you're doing a full-scale renovation. Let's think about how we can commune with God, creating with the Creator, to make something that goes beyond anything we could do on our own, but through the Holy Spirit is something that brings people shalom, like true peace, that brings people a sense of love and connection, places where we are creating them with a heart to serve someone else. That's what I get excited about when I think about interior design. And if that's you, then I think you're gonna enjoy this journey that we're about to go on. Now, because I was a bit flaky these last few months, and I do again apologize for that, because I do think there's something beautiful about consistency, except when you need to take a break away and focus on the things that you need to prioritize. But for me, I think that a lot of it was out of fear and out of this fumbling about, is this good, da da da. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm rejecting that, and instead I wanna show you what it can look like to really design with spiritual formation and hospitality in mind. And I'm excited to see the transformation that comes, because ultimately that's what I'm praying for. Interior design is about transformation, but not just the space. The space is just the setting where the transformation happens. Our homes and the way that we are intentional in creating them allows us to create a place for the work that's happening within the hearts of the people that live there. So that's what we're here for. That's what I'm excited about. And because I want to be consistent, this is part one, and I am filming several parts right now, and I'm going to break them up so that they're more easily digestible, because I want to make sure that I am providing consistently and also really taking on the journey. So my promise to you is that there will be a lot more consistency in my videos that I share here. So with all of that long introduction, let's get into it. We're going to be talking about space planning. It's one of my favorite things to do in interior design. So when we think about the process of going through interior design, space planning is a huge one. But before we get to space planning, we have the other parts, which I've made a video about in the past, the questions you want to ask, the prayer you want to have as you're creating a space, praying first, but then also looking at function and who's going to use the space. What do you need? What do you need the space to do? Before we're talking about paint colors and other things, we want to consider, what is the space for? Who is it for? How will it really be used? Those are questions that are going to form the foundation of then how you build upon that to create your space. Then you're going to get into looking at taking inventory of the space that you're in. You're going to be aware of, okay, where are the windows? Where are the doors? What's already here that can't be changed? What do I want to keep? What do I not want to keep? Again, if you're renovating say you're doing something in a living room and you're just kind of redesigning, and that might more be about furniture layouts. You might not be taking down any walls, but you also might be in a renovation like this one. So I'm going to focus on that, where you really do have to take inventory of where is every light switch? Where are the windows? Where are the doors? What are the things that cannot be changed? I'm in a basement again, so I have our furnace and our hot water heaters, and we had to think about placement for all of that. So those are details that I'm going to just go in depth on, since that's my real-time experience. I'm also going to be talking about a powder bath and a full bath, which actually is my kids' bathroom. So those are two things we're going to touch on a bit as well, to just go through what you want to think about, what you want to consider with space planning, and all of that too. But for today, and for these next few videos, we're going to really hone in on the basement. So let's get started first with the floor plan. Okay, for part one, we're gonna focus on the entryway of this renovation. So in a house, when I'm thinking about an entryway, it's a little bit different because it's a bit more personal, cozy, because you're coming into someone's home. In this area, yes, you're coming into my home, but we're actually using this side specifically for events. It's more of a public use. The way that we are breaking up our home, and you can see on our floor plan, is that we have one section that is essentially the public side. It's what we're using for the events that we have, etc. And then the other side is what we're using for more private use. If we have someone come live with us, or just people visiting and they need a place to stay, we've got bedrooms down here, a living area. It's something my family can use. It's more private. And then the other side, we're really focusing on it being the public use. If someone needs to have meetings down here, if we're hosting people and we want to have the event in the basement, whatever it looks like. So that's the public side. So as I'm thinking about this entry, I'm considering what it looks like to use it for both the functional piece, which the primary purpose is for it to have bathrooms and a sink. That's the main goal of this area. That's why we're doing this entire renovation, was to create more a space for people to be able to use restrooms, because that's one of our weaknesses when we have events here on the property. We aren't able to. When we had a wedding here, we didn't have the bathrooms for it. When we had a big anniversary party here and there was like some 100 people or so, we didn't have a restroom. We had to, rent those things and bring them. So that's why, and that's really the main goal of this entire project, was to add that. Now, as you look at our floor plan, we have the two bathrooms that are actually right next to this door. This is the entryway to this space. I open this up. This is how you're getting in and out. We're actually renovating all of that area too. We'll talk about that in another video. So with this door, there were a couple things. We had to think through a lot when it came to where the bathrooms were going to be. And you might wonder, as you're looking at this floor plan, well, why did they put it there? We could have put it by the windows, da da da. The reason that we didn't put it under the windows was because we didn't want to cover them. It's a basement. There's not much light. We didn't want to cover the little bit of light we did have. And actually, I really like the windows, and to trim them out, it's going to look beautiful. We couldn't put them on the wall opposite the door, because even though we are going to move the stairs to have them face the other direction, so it's actually, this whole wall will be walled off, we still didn't have enough space to be able to accommodate the two water closets. They are going to be 30 inches by 60 inches, and there just wasn't a way to make it work. We tried everything. We talked with our contractor. We really wanted to get creative. It wasn't going to work. So the best way to do it was to have the bathrooms on this wall. So with that, you can see that our door opens up like this. So when you're thinking about space planning, one of the things that we had to consider was, if someone's walking in this space, they have a big wall next to them because there's these two bathrooms here. So instead of opening the door this way, we're going to switch it so that the door actually opens from this side. One of the other things we're going to do is we can add some trim. If we move this door over just a little bit, we're able to add a couple more inches so that we'll have a little bit more space in between the bathroom and the door. So that's going to help just add a little more breathing room. But the biggest thing that we did was open up the door so that it goes this way. So now when we're walking in, we're opening and we're walking in, and you're still gonna have that wall there a little bit, but this is 60 inches. The door will be 36 inches, so that leaves you about 24 inches on the end. But when you step in, you're still gonna have a pretty good view towards where the kitchen area is, where the opposite wall is, which is where I'm gonna put the sink. On the floor plan, it actually shows the sink underneath the windows, but I'm gonna move them. I'm going to actually have them go on the wall opposite this door and instead have a seating area under the windows. And the reason for having a seating area under the windows is because to me it created a sense of warmth and it created a sense of come and you can sit. Say you're coming in, you're waiting for the restroom, here's a spot you can sit. You can see the sink clearly, but it also provides a little bit more clearance. So now I'm opening up the door, I'm walking in, and if you have people who are at the sink, they're washing their hands, we have a ton of kids here. I mean, I have 4 kids myself. We have a ton of kids here all the time. So I'm just imagining kids that are waiting to wash their hands and da-da-da-da. So I didn't want to open this door and then you're immediately opening up into a line of people who are washing their hands. Instead, if I put the sink on the opposite wall, that allows a lot more breathing room, a lot more space. And now this area is a bit more open. You can have the bench there if someone's sitting and waiting. So you're waiting for your kid or you're waiting for your friend as they finish washing their hands, then you're gonna go back outside. Whatever that might look like, you just have a lot more space. Because when you're creating a space plan, you wanna think about the flow and how people are actually using the space. And so for me, it was really important to walk through it in my mind saying, okay, what does it look like? I open this up, okay, good. I don't have just this big wall next to me. I have this open space. It's clear to me the sink's right here if I just need to come in and wash my hands, but the bathroom's right here, obviously. So if I need to go use that, but then there's a clear path to also go right into the kitchen area, which is what we're going to use for prep or again, if people are having a meeting or something like that and they need that space. Because in that space, we're going to have a 16-foot table. So there's lots of room for activities, if you know the movie. Yeah, but there's a lot of space for people to use that for whatever types of things we might need. I have a friend who wants to come to our home and use it as a retreat space for a Bible study group that she is running a whole thing that she's doing. She's like, can I use that? And I'm imagining the women being able to use that space, all of that. So wanting to have a clear path into that area. All right, so those are things that I want to think about when it comes to our space planning. I briefly mentioned this already, but one of the things that we have to do in order to make this plan work is we are actually going to move these stairs and have them focus or turn the other way. Now this is a very tight stairwell. Then the only way that you can really make this work is by having this curve out. So what's gonna happen is the stairs that end about here, those, let me actually show you. Let me come a little closer. The stairs that end right about here, that is gonna get cut off, and then we'll have to remake these so that they focus or turn the other way. Something I'm very excited about is the it'll be 5 or 6 feet, I haven't decided yet, sink that we're gonna go ahead and have on the wall. It's I've already sourced one. I'm really looking forward to it because I just have this image in my head of how cute it will be, and it'll have 2 to 3 different faucets all in that sink that kids, adults, everyone can come in and just use. So it'll be that communal sink. One of the things that was really important and the driver for us as far as our space planning goes and just even the whole design of the space is the fact that we wanted bathrooms, right? But specifically, I wanted bathrooms that were single stall. And the reason for that was safety. I was concerned about having, say, kids are coming down here, or adults are coming down here, or whoever, people are coming to use these bathrooms, and I wanted to create a situation where most bathrooms, you really could only have one person in it, because that way I felt it was just adding a layer of security. If you have only one person in there, instead of something where, there's multiple people, it just, for me, provided a greater sense of safety. And then having the sink, just big communal sink out here, would just make make it a lot easier. So you have the water closet, and then you come out of that and you come wash your hands out here, just like any other public restroom. But most public restrooms, there are multiple stalls in one room that has a door. And in this case, it's just, there are essentially 2 stalls, 2 water closets, and then you come out to the sink here. So that was something that was important to me. And so as we considered where the water closets will be, where the sink will be, I wanted to have that direct line from the water closets to the sink. But I also liked that when you open the front door, sometimes you just need to come in and wash your hands. So when you open the door, that's direct, like right away you're looking at the sink that's right here too. So I really liked just having all of those sight lines that were very clear, and again, flow, and naturally things were near each other. That makes it a little bit easier too. So those are some things that I was also keeping in mind. Now, to end the video, we're going to talk about how a space plan can actually play into your hospitality. I recently did a course where I shared with people about the beauty of a space plan in creating connection. If you take a moment to think about when you've entered a new place, maybe it's the first time you met, if you're married, your spouse, or if you're dating, the person you're dating, the first time you met their parents, and say you showed up at their house and you're walking in, think about the questions you have in your mind, the things you're thinking about, right? There's a lot that is probably going on when you have that first initial meeting. Or I think about when, we've moved across the country multiple times in, Brandon and my marriage, and we visited a lot of churches. It's one of the first things we do is want to get plugged into a church community. And so we visited a lot of churches, and we have experienced the difference between walking into a place and knowing like the questions and the wondering and the, am I going to be accepted here? What do I do with my kids? How do I navigate this? And I have found that whether the church is huge or small, when you have a place that it's easy to navigate from one step to the next, it actually is really helpful for being able to feel a sense of peace and connection to the space. And if you don't believe me, I want you to try that the next time you go somewhere new that you're not aware of, or that you've never been to. I think when people walk into a home of someone they've never been to, one of the questions you have is, where do I put my bag? What do I do with my shoes? Da, da, da. Like when you make those things easy for people to already get and to know where to enter into next, that really does help them to make a better connection to your space, and it takes off the mental load. It takes off the mental load of figuring that out so you can focus on the things that actually matter, which really are usually questions about connection. Do I belong here? To be honest, that's what most of us are wondering when we're entering into a new space where there are people that we might want to build a relationship with and we don't know them well, or it's a new thing. We're often asking questions of belonging. And I love that simply arranging my house in a way that makes the flow intuitive to someone, that takes off one thing that they have to think about so they can better connect with the space. Because my goal is the sooner I can help you feel safe, connected, a sense of peace in my space, then that's going to make it easier for me to also make that connection with you, which is the ultimate goal, right? I want to connect with you when you come into my space, right? So you don't have to, again, do a big renovation for that. You can think about something as simple as, when someone comes into my home, do they know where to go next in the space? Like if they're walking in my living room or family room, is it clear like how to get in and sit down at a seat? Or do I have chairs blocking the entryway, which is very common? Or are the entries and exits, is it even clear to someone how they can navigate in that space? And if not, maybe just moving the couch a couple inches this way, or just moving a chair into this other corner. Maybe that could help to create a situation that is easy for someone to navigate and, again, has the flow that we want to in a good space plan, the flow that we want to have in a good space plan. So that's my encouragement to you, to think about that, to think, what are little tweaks and things I can do to help make it easy to navigate my space, to help someone feel even more welcome and connected. That, I think if you do that little thing, if you just are a little bit intentional, it can really go a long way. So that is the end of part one. That's our entryway here. Those are some of the things that we're thinking through. I've got a whole lot more coming in terms of the design, from the tile to the colors to all of that. So we're gonna come back to the entryway and talk about that some more. But because we've got a big area down here and a lot more space planning to think through, in part two, we're gonna focus on the rest of this space and the different decided decisions we made in regards to the space plan specifically. So I'll catch you in part two.